Slacktail Squad, assemble.
This is the Slaptail Squad, and I am the Beaveman. And if you are listening to this, you are a member of the Great Slaptail Nation, my nation, and probably, possibly, even a member of the Great Slaptail Nation Army, of which I am, of course, the general. For I am the Beaveman, master of the universe, creator of all things great and small. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Great, my love for the new Mixcast 4, and small, my understanding of all things audio. Although I am getting better, because I'm playing with it. It's pretty cool. You know how your mom tells you not to play with it? I don't know. Mine never caught me doing that. But I totally encourage you to play with it, because that's what I'm doing. I'm playing with it. And also with me today is my number 2, live from the tent. You can still see this green aura around his head, is the Rons.
Hey, Beaveman, how are you?
Automatically, he hits the little shock absorber there. Automatically, I heard it, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That's
That's
okay.
okay.
Getting it out of the way early.
That's all right. It's okay.
I guess I realized my thrust was
You can't
deadly.
even deliver it. He can't
How's your
even
thrust?
deliver it.
I'm sorry. How was your thrust
How's my
again?
thrust? Deadly. I'm sorry.
He's doing it again. You can just hear him. He just keeps. It's your cord, isn't it? It's the cord from your headphones that keeps hitting your.
It's just swinging it around.
No, my cord is resting against my chest.
It's his weenus.
Is it
It's
your
just
weenus?
swinging.
Are you wearing pants?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
God.
also with us today, instead of being in the Swan Gash, she's right next to me because we've got the mixer. This is not a paid advertisement for Tascam, by the way, but I'm using the Mixcast 4, and so with me in the room, in the Beaver Den, is the Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan.
Swan, you actually have a job today. Is that
I do have a job.
you
We'll
are
see how
now?
well I can do my job. We're
It's,
just going to test my typing skills.
It's pretty awesome what runs. We've got the setup going. Eventually, soon, it will be all of us 4 united, and you will each have your own little gig to do. As I work the mixer, do you know what the mixer is called, Runs?
He's only said it 4 times already so far. I knew you were not paying attention.
No, I didn't.
It's got a number in it.
This is not a paid advertisement, by the way.
It's the Tascam Mixcast 4. Mark that down, Runs.
Write it down.
Write it down.
That was very important. Again, not a
Not an
paid
advertisement.
advertisement.
Not a
I so wish that I was paid to advertise them because I'm digging it. It's pretty freaking awesome.
He
You will
named it.
see. You will see some further things from it later as we do the podcast. But you know what today is, Rons?
What is today?
This is my favorite time of the week, podcast time. But today we're going to talk about my 5 things.
His 5
5
things.
things.
My 5 things. Say it with me.
His 5
No,
things.
I said say
My
it with
5
me.
things? Okay.
My 5
Me.
things.
My 5 things.
Let's try it again.
1, 2, 3.
Well, you know,
My
if you're the
I
director,
said-
you've got to cue everybody up.
Okay, it's my 5 things. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
My
My
5
things.
things.
Rons, you
Yeah.
You got,
Oh,
No,
so
you gotta
close.
use
It was
hand
so close.
signals. I mean,
it was so close. There's a time
know-
delay, maybe.
maybe.
yeah, it could be.
What 5
That's okay.
things do you think he's talking
That's okay.
about?
I counted us in earlier, and I skipped 2. I think I dropped a mate.
Yeah,
Or I
that's
skipped
okay.
3. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Uh,
It's a work in
Yeah.
progress. He's got 5
I would
things,
agree.
though.
what are they?
So you're automatically going to just jump and ask me what they are? You don't want to.
Don't
Well,
you want
I
to know
can
what
only
the
assume one
Mixcast
is
You don't want to
blue.
speculate.
name is?
You don't want to mix. You
All
don't
right,
want
you
to.
know what?
You don't want to
I think I wanna
speculate
guess-
what the 5 things could be.
I will speculate. Lube, dojo, COVID, people that have pissed you off recently, and there's one more, and I will randomly say the world.
Huh. Okay. Well, maybe I should have done a better job of introducing my 5 things. It's my 5 things day. It's my 5 things. My 5 things
Yay!
that make life worth living. So
Well, probably lube could be one of them.
a loop could be one of them, but this is my 5 things. My 5 things that I tell my patients it's very important to have in your life to make your life worth living. You might ask yourself the question, why is it 5? Why is it 5, Beaveman? Or you
Oh, you know what? That is such a burning question. And unlike syphilis, you have the answer and the cure.
There's a cure for syphilis. It's penicillin. That's actually the
Who
cure.
knew?
That is, well, apparently not the people running the Tuskegee experiment. No, they knew, bastards. They knew,
That is a
and they
history
still didn't
lesson.
treat them. No, my 5 things for a well-balanced life. I will hit you with. Yeah, did you want to guess what they were? Ron's did, but he did not have the correct context, and that is my fault. Ron's, did you want to guess again what my 5 things
I
are?
will. I would say at your stage in life, oatmeal for a good bowel movement. The
That would have
swan.
actually been funny, but okay. I think that's more your stage of.
I
you
love
gotta add
oatmeal.
Medi-
By
you
the
gotta
way,
add
I could do it.
Metamucil to
I could do an
yours.
entire podcast about oatmeal and how much I love it. But please
The
continue.
swan, or in general, your family. I know you love to talk about the boy and his achievements. The daughter, once again, that goes in the family, though. I would say your job, your dojo mates, or dojo in general.
The dojo, mates.
What else?
Hey, dojo, mate.
Oh, and if we're going to get there, your army background or your military career. And your
Are you counting all
career
these?
path that
Are
you're
you
currently on.
counting? Are you counting?
Yeah,
Are you counting on how many you're at?
I was inclusive on some of those, but kind of branched off on them.
So you're subcategorizing the 5. That's okay.
Exactly.
I think that's allowed.
That's okay. That's all right because that is actually part of it. But some of them are very general. I will tell you my 5 things after we have the swan.
And one last one
go
is
ahead.
your love for medieval fighting.
Okay. All right. Swan, do you have any idea what my 5 things might be?
I feel like we're gonna just go back to more basic things, like sex is one of them. Like
You're correct. Ding, ding, ding. This is almost like Family Feud. Ron's.
I would have. That would have been inclusive
Ron's.
with the swan.
The swan has one of the 5 things correct.
So we're gonna talk about sex today, boys and girls. This is not
So
a family-friendly podcast.
wait a minute. So where does my answer with lube not fit in that answer, though?
That was one of your first. Was one of your first answers. You actually gave 10 things, but that's okay.
More than
Okay,
10,
okay.
but
You might actually want to take notes, members of the Great Slaptail Nation, or you could just listen to the podcast again or share it. But we're going to talk about my 5 things. The swan has one correct. I believe I did say that. I actually did say that this is my 5 things that the Beaveman lives by that I believe leads to a well-balanced life. And it's actually something that I shared a jam file. What's going on with that? Looks like somebody has hacked into the Little Ron's account, or he's getting little messages. My 5 things that I actually share with patients.
like you need a hobby of some sort. I'm just going to be generic because Ron's like gave a bunch of hobbies, but a hobby of some sort of things that you to enjoy, because you said it's about things to make your life full. So some type of hobby, broad statement, and we can narrow it down from there. That's my number 2.
2 things that you have. Okay.
Was Ron's right about any of his?
Was Ron's right about any of his? In a broad category, I mean, he was trying to be really specific on some things, but these are the 5 things. Swan's got one of them so far.
Some type of exercise regimen.
Yes, that's one of them. Ding, ding, ding. The Swan
Swan's got
has
2.
2 out of the 5.
So I got 2 more guesses. Some type of I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to go with some kind of diet, some healthy
That is actually
diet.
correct. The Swan is correct. Yet again, she has 3.
It's like
out of
we're
the
in
5.
sync. Maybe it's because we're in the beaver den together.
She's doing pretty well here, Ron.
I got
I'm going to
3
get
out
more
of
specific
5,
about it.
and I only have one more guess.
You have one more guess.
I mean, if we're going basic life, I want a good sleep regimen.
Oh my gosh, she's got 4 out of the 5, Rons. She has 4 out of the 5. This is amazing.
Go Swan.
Well, the thing is, I'm looking at the 4, and I would say 3 of those out of those 3 that I see, 2 of those are subcategories.
3 out of the 4. You mean of your guesses? Is what you're saying?
Well, no, her guesses, because you've got sex, and that's an entire different category. But exercise, diet, and sleep are subcategories or I should say, diet and sleep.
Well,
Or
No, those are
subcategories
straight
of
up
exercise.
categories.
They're
Those
their
are
own
those are straight.
category,
Those are
but-
their own. How are they subcategories? They're their own category.
Well,
What is sleep?
exercise,
What is sleep a subcategory of?
exercise
How is
or
exercise?
sex
Like exercise or sex?
or sex. Hey, no. When you exercise properly, they recommend a decent sleep regimen and a
Okay,
a
but that's
decent
not a
diet.
subcategory. But it's not a subcategory.
Yeah, no, we're
It's
looking
still a
at
category.
big picture of life balance and happiness. So I put diet, some kind of exercise, sex, sleep, and nutrition. So that's my 5.
Well, nutrition and diet go hand in
Nutrition and
hand.
diet are the same.
It's the
They
same,
think it's the
under
same
those
thing.
are the same
Swan.
category. Okay,
The
so
same
I'm
thing.
missing one.
Okay, so here's the 5 things that the Beaveman says you must have in balance to have a happy and fulfilled life. 1, sleep. 2, sex. 3, healthy diet. 4, exercise. And 5, a motivating factor.
Mm.
1, a
Ooh.
motivating factor that gets you out of bed and keeps you going on, keeps you driving on. For some people, this is religion. For some people, it's their family. For some people, it's their job, etc., etc., etc. For some people, it also fits into the category that we already had, which was sex. But then you got to find something. But then you got to find something else. Those are my 5 things. And you might be asking yourself, why is this important?
Why is this
Why
important?
is this important?
How did you know?
Fantastic.
Wow, you are psychic.
It is a fantastic question, Ron. Thank you for asking that question of why is it important? Because this is just my opinion on what brings balance to life. If you have a disruption of one of those 5 things, then you do not have balance in your life, and therefore you could be depressed, anxious, questioning your basic concept of what a good life is, and trying to figure out where your place in the universe is, and maybe it doesn't make you happy, and maybe you're not happy. But if you have these 5 things, and of course, like you said, Rons, there are subcategories, although you thought sleep was a subcategory of
Sex.
Sex?
It's
Well-
the after part. It's the after part.
What are the 5 things that make you happy?
I don't have a category to my 5 things. My brain doesn't think like that. It's not categorized. My brain's like
All right, well,
ADD all over.
Name one thing right off the top of your head that makes you
Food.
happy.
Food makes me happy. I like food. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
Food.
still part of his category, diet and exercise.
Yeah, but I
But-
asked you, not him.
Food.
But okay.
What makes you happy, Rons? The dojo. The dojo.
The dojo does make me happy. What else makes me happy? Geocaching, teaching,
Those are your
the
hobbies.
podcast,
Is that what you're calling? So hobbies that you enjoy make you happy?
podcasting with you guys.
anything else.
I'm pretty sure there's more out there if I had more time to think. But sex, definitely.
Well, there
that
you
wasn't
go.
number 1. That was number 1 on the list when for Beefman.
No, that wasn't number. See, you're missing the point of my 5 things.
It's not.
What did I
you need
say
all
about
of
what did
them
I say
to make
about
the
my
world go
5 things?
round.
What did I say about my 5 things?
You need them in balance.
That's what I said. So is one more important than the other?
I mean,
No, she didn't say that. She was
No,
saying
that's
number
what I said.
1. as
No,
far-
no, that is
Oh.
what she just said.
I
She was
I
just.
did say that he would feel that was more important than certain
Would
things.
you
He
be
would.
quiet
He
while I
would.
defend
You shut up.
you?
No, I can defend myself.
No.
I can defend
Yeah.
myself. I promise.
Let's see this.
He. I'm pretty sure if he had the choice of sex or food, he'd pick sex.
Depends
So-
on what the food is.
Well, I mean, just in general,
I mean, is it sex
Why
with
not
you or is it
combine the
sex?
two?
Is it sex with you? Because if it's sex with you, I'd pick food.
harsh. Well, I'm gonna keep.
I
That
mean,
in mind.
I've been doing it for a long time with you, so I mean, I'm not going to necessarily drop. Like if you had,
a nice steak.
I think
Or
that
sex
if
with me.
if I had, no, I wouldn't pick steak over you. No,
Oh, well, good. See,
I
I'd
think
pick
if I
steak
had
over you.
if I had a tray of say my mom's tacos and I didn't have to worry about weight gain or anything like that, if there was like 30 of them, I would definitely pick that over you.
Well, I'd pick steak over you.
Well, you'd pick any food over sex because you
No.
don't care about sex.
Not like broccoli. I'd pick sex over broccoli.
Sex over broccoli.
That's
There
a
you
that's a
go.
good song title.
Sex over broccoli.
Yeah.
Sex over broccoli. It sounds like a really disturbing mathematical calculation.
It does.
First, you've got sex over broccoli equals
Bad
I
guy.
agree
flatulence
with the
equals
swan, though. I
flatulence
agree
equals
with the swan.
flatulence.
No, I like what the swan came up. That sounds like a really good punk song. Sex over broccoli.
Yeah. So
No, I think that
Besides,
if you
no,
have too much broccoli and then you have sex,
It's all bad.
it's pretty horrible. And then at that point in time,
Get your butt checked.
you really should.
You should get your
Get your
butt
butt
checked.
checked.
You definitely should.
Get
Yeah.
your butt checked.
Absolutely.
So you were just waiting to use that soundbite. So there we go.
If your sleep is not in balance, I've said this before, if my sleep is horrible and I really struggle with trying to decide if I should go back on medication because I'm living my life in this haze of sleepiness and it's terrible. And of course, being on a medication to prevent you from being sleepy all the time is also terrible. I have
Is that called sleep apnea?
no, my sleep apnea is controlled. What I have is hypersomnolence, which is a fancy term for somebody who is perpetually sleepy. In other words, always tired, whether they sleep or not, whether they get 8, 9, 10, 12 hours of sleep, they wake up and they're still tired. That is
that the
how
same
I
as
live my life.
narcolepsy?
Yes, it is the same as narcolepsy, except for me, it is called idiopathic, meaning they don't know why it's caused. But that's because when I did my sleep study, my 2-day sleep study, I was taking a medication called Cymbalta. And because of that, my sleep doctor was not allowed to diagnose me, quote, with narcolepsy because I was on Cymbalta. If I had taken the test without being on Cymbalta, then I would have the diagnosis of narcolepsy. But of course, I'm not going to do a 2-day sleep study again just because I'm not on Cymbalta and haven't been for years. So do I have narcolepsy? Yes, she says that I have narcolepsy, but they can't, quote, name it that.
So, but would there be benefit of doing another sleep study just to see how your sleep is doing now that you're on CPAP and without your medication? Because maybe your sleep is even more fucked up, or
And
maybe
what would they do about it, even
I
though
don't
my
know.
sleep is more?
maybe adjust some settings. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, they can adjust settings just by remotely accessing my CPAP machine.
Maybe they would figure out why the fuck you twitch all the time when you sleep.
Yeah, she doesn't know why.
That's fucking
She doesn't know why. I asked her.
He has like sporadic, spastic, jerking, horrible movements. It's like literally like Tourette's in his sleep. It's terrible.
Did you go on the web and look it up? You could, I'm pretty sure there's somewhere out
Dude,
there.
if you do any of that stuff, you're just like every other Riri who Googles what's wrong with
I
them.
think it's a form of cataplexy.
God, I think it's like seizure activity. It's something.
No, she said that she doesn't think it's seizure activity because it would have triggered when I did my sleep studies. Because they do, when you do a sleep study, it is basically an EEG also. So
Yeah, but I didn't know if your medication would have subdued any of
no, I've always done that. I've always done that
Oh.
weird shit.
horrible.
Anyway,
Well-
back to me.
If you go on WebMD, or some sort of website that you could diagnose yourself like.
Well, I
within
mean, I
5 minutes, you
could,
might
but I could
have-
also fall back on that 8 years of education I have and maybe, I don't know.
Oh no.
Maybe
Let's
use
not
that
use the
instead.
smart-
Maybe use that instead.
Listen,
My
you
8
should
years
put
of
it out there on a
education.
forum. You should put it out there on the forum, and they will tell you
And-
what's wrong with you.
Oh, yeah.
Just so some soccer mom can tell me what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on, soccer moms know it. And speaking of which, isn't the Swan a soccer mom? She can tell you what's wrong.
No, I
Yeah.
think by definition of a soccer mom, you're not supposed to have a job. I feel like that's how it.
You just drive your kids around and that's it. That's your entire job. You have a minivan and all you do is cart kids from place to place.
Yeah. Can we talk about my 5 things?
Yeah. Let's talk about your
Let-
5
let's-
things.
Let's talk about my 5 things. Anyway, back to my sleep. Here's the dilemma is I could be more awake all the time and I could feel pretty good. But in order to do that, I would have to take a medication that I don't want to take. So that's why I don't do it. But I've been kicking it over in my brain again, saying maybe I should do it because my sleep is out of balance and I don't like to spend my entire day looking forward to bedtime. That's how I spend my day, Ron. From the minute I wake up, I just look forward to being back in sleep. So my life is not in balance. It's unfortunate.
Believe it or not, I understand that. I
Well, that's because you sleep like
We both
3
know.
hours.
Yeah, yours is self-induced runs.
no, you're absolutely right. Right, there are days where it is self-induced, and you're right. I will totally agree with that. You wake up because of your schedule. You've got to get things done, and all you want to do is go back to bed, go to sleep. I will not disagree with that.
Yeah, and I work
So,
so
do you-
often now. I work so often now that on the days that I'm off, it feels odd that I'm off. And not only does it feel odd that I'm off, but the 2 ladies that I live with seem to perpetually think that I must be doing something when I'm off. One, they're shocked that I'm off. They're like, don't you have to work today? Don't you have to? Every 5 seconds, one of them is like, don't you have to work today? Don't you have to work today? I'm like, no, I don't have to work today. I get to have a day off.
Well, but
Ladies.
you're so used to it. We're just assume that you work.
With that said, to get back to the sleep mode, do you do anything to exhaust yourself? I mean, obviously 5 minutes with the swan and your sex would exhaust
No.
you. Wouldn't that put you?
No, I really wouldn't because Swan does most of the work. I don't really do that much. I'm not even sure I need to be there.
True.
I don't even know that.
Yeah,
I don't even know that I'm an important part of the
You have
equation.
an accessory that I need. So
yeah. Well, you would think with the release of the serotonin and the dopamine in the brain during sex, that would wear you out.
No, I don't have a
Right?
problem of being worn out, Runs. I have a problem of being awake. I'm always tired.
He just wants to sleep all the time. So
Are you saying Swan is boring in bed? Maybe she
no,
can...
he's tired because of his diagnosis all the time. So even if he slept like a koala, freaking 27 hours a day, he would still wake up tired.
Well, there's only 24 hours
I
in the
know,
day,
I was
Swan.
just being sarcastic.
I don't know if you know this, but
I do know it.
there's only 24 hours in the day.
Actually, there isn't 24 hours in the
Well,
day.
there's more.
23 hours in...
Yeah, there's
No,
more or less
23
because of the
hours
leap
and
year.
56
Yeah, that's where
minutes.
that's how they figure the leap year, right? Isn't that how you do
Why
that?
are you trying to
Yeah,
sing
the Earth
Rent
is-
right now, Rons?
Well,
No,
okay.
however,
Well, the Earth is
I don't
slowing
even know
down.
that song. It's like 5,200.
Okay, yeah. No one referenced Rent.
I did. Just because Rons did.
Anyway,
No, I
no,
made a
Swan does most
reference
of the
into
work.
the,
Most of the work.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I gotta.
Okay,
but
yeah.
should I? But should I take medication? This is what I'm asking myself. Should I or should I not?
To deal with the Swan, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. That's totally different.
That
No,
would be the opposite of this medication. You need some calming medication to deal with the swan, but you need some upper medication to help you with your sleep. I feel like you probably should not take medication
why is that?
because you didn't like to be on medication and you don't want to have long-term addiction to medication, so you don't want to take it. I
It's a
mean,
very valid reason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I gave up Pez. I didn't want to be addicted to Pez.
Well,
You ever try to break the cycle of those? My God, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go.
well, we have
There's
quite a
always a
collection
Pez
of Pez dispensers.
yeah, I don't know if Baby Swan got rid of hers, but she had like a good 2 or 3 shoeboxes full of them, like all different random ones.
I think she did. I think she only kept a few of them and got rid of the rest.
It's sad.
Some are very valuable. Some aren't.
Yeah. So anyway, so back to the whole sleep. I would have to take Adderall to stay awake. Here's what happens when I take Adderall. I get constipated, which I don't like. I got so constipated when they started me on Adderall that I blew 2 hernias in my groin.
Okay.
From straining so hard to take a poop that I have.
Okay, so why not go to this one for bowel impact removal?
No, that's
as you
fucking
described it in
disgusting.
your
Why
last-
would I want
Well,
to do
no,
that?
no, don't even go there because you two in a podcast, and I will find that podcast, describe digging your fingers up into someone's colon and digging the
Yeah, I
shit
don't
out.
want to do it to my significant other. Like I've done it as a nursing function, but I don't want to do it. No.
Well, you can incorporate the balance of his sex life and make it happy.
Pooping is not related to sex life. If you have a pooping fetish, then you got
apparently
it.
you
People
have
do.
not seen the
Yeah,
internet.
Well,
it is.
I
Some
mean, if
people-
that's your thing, Rons, I don't even know if I can be your friend
No,
anymore.
it's not my thing.
Dropping out.
It's not my
Yeah.
thing, but I'm trying to give a balance here or some balanced advice to the Beaveman.
No,
So-
we're not going to incorporate poop into our sex life. Nope.
No, I didn't suggest that, but I mean, if the Adderall makes him constipated, I mean,
Then
And
he
you
can
being a
eat more
nurse.
fiber. Take some Metamucil.
probably more broccoli.
More broccoli.
Probably more broccoli for you.
Yeah.
All right.
he'll do it.
So what are the alternatives to Adderall for you?
I mean, really, the rest of them are not. They're all very similar. It's all stimulants based. I've tried a bunch of them, but the only one that actually works is Adderall, and it doesn't do what it does for other people when I'm on it. It doesn't make me hyper or anything like that. It just makes me stay awake. Doesn't make me any more focused. I just don't feel tired all the time. The downside is that it increases my heart rate, and I don't like that. So my resting heart rate is like 58, and it jumps it up to like 78, 80, and I don't like that because obviously the only
All right,
time our
once
heart gets
again,
to
I'm
rest.
going to bring the swan in here. I thought the swan always made your heart beat
No, she
faster.
doesn't. Dude, we've been together for freaking no. She doesn't make my heart rate increase. She's not romantic, so no, I don't. You can stop thinking all that stuff. That doesn't happen.
You know, I will disagree with that because I've seen you two together. To the audience, you guys are a very cute couple. So
That well, I don't think that has anything to do with whether my heart rate increases when I see her.
I think it does. I'll look it
Anyway.
up on the web. I'll ask a bunch of forum soccer moms. They'll probably give me the right answer.
Yeah, probably. Hey there, members of the Great Slaptail Nation. It's me, the Beaveman, and I'm here to deliver you a message from beyond the stars about our sponsor for this episode, Swiss Navy. No matter who you love or how you love, Swiss Navy products set the bar for sexual enhancement. There's more glide, more comfort, and even products for longer lasting pleasure. Great. Now that we have our professional corporate talk out of the way, on a more personal note, I love Swiss Navy silicone lubricant. It's amazing. I'm not joking. It is so amazing that I'm hesitant to try the other products because I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to use it on the rare occasions the Swan and I have sex. It's like a sexual force multiplier. Try it. You won't be disappointed, and I promise to try the other products. After all, is there a better way of sharing a product review than with your listening audience? Of course not. Swiss Navy has a wide range of premium products to choose from for whatever amount fills your hole. By the way, my son wrote that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm such a proud father today. But they have options from travel sizes of only 2 ounces all the way up to a gallon option for certain products. I'll leave it up to your imagination, dear listener, what can be accomplished with a gallon of premium quality lube. But don't just take my word for it. Try it out for yourself by going to SwissNavy.com. Once again, that's SwissNavy.com. And in your order comments, let them know the Slaptail Squad sent you. Swiss Navy. No matter who you love or how you love. Adios, moochfuckos. All right, and back to the show. Well, let's just move on from sleep. It's not that important. I gotta get through my 4 other ones. I gotta get through my other 4 of the 5 things.
So are you giving them
Just a
to
side
us
note.
in any order at all?
No,
Since they have to just balance each
no.
other.
That again,
Just a
not
side
in.
note, that little intro that you did was awesome, right? And in true podcast or true broadcast, the mics got muted, and you guys were talking like, you know, at the end of the news segment when we were growing up, and this is how it is today. And then they cut the mic, and you see people talking in the background. I'm like, what the hell are they saying? Right? You guys look really professional doing that.
Well, you know, I think that when people listen to the podcast runs, they just assume that the advertisement rules or whatever, and you don't have to bring it up right after. You don't have to bring up the behind the scenes of what's going on with the podcast, because some people might just assume that I put this in afterwards, which is what I usually do. Is I usually put it in afterwards, but not with the Tascam Mixcast 4. With the Tascam Mixcast 4, I'm able to do all of my editing and insert my audio clips as I podcast.
Are you going to give them props for this? Because you've talked about them so much.
Well, it's just time.
Mixie.
My good friend Mixie. Do you think Mixie is a boy or a girl, Runs? Or a man or a woman?
It's a we. It's a we. It's definitely a we.
I don't know. I mean, it's
them.
whatever.
It's a they, them.
It's whatever you assign it to be.
Mixie's a girl.
Yeah, Mixie's a girl. I knew
Mixie's
it
a
was, but I
girl.
just wanted.
Not only is Mixie a girl, Mixie is a goth girl.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what Beaveman was talking about.
A little dark eyeliner, a little angst there. Yeah. I can see that happening. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Swan, a little dark eyeliner, a little spike collar on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mixie's a goth girl.
You got issues.
Ooh. You know, I do have a mixer board on this end too, if we're going to do that. But
why would I want you to have some sort of?
Yeah, you're not allowed to mix. You're not allowed to mix or mess with anything, Ron.
Yeah, why would I want you to?
Anything.
Well,
Don't touch
because I like
anything over
doing the
there.
voices too. But I like doing the voices. But this is the Beaveman playing with his new toy. So what else can you do with
Her
this
name
new
is
toy?
Mixie.
Fair enough.
So
All
let's
right.
talk
As you
about
said,
your next thing.
A proper diet, a healthy diet, or a diet that you enjoy that will make you a fat garapito. That's okay too. But
broccoli and oatmeal.
is that all you eat? Is you just eat broccoli and oatmeal?
No. Ron's eats a whole bunch of nasty shit, I'm sure.
Ron's eats more than a serving size of peanut M&Ms every time I go to the dojo. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a super... And not only is he eating a serving size greater than a serving size of peanut M&Ms, he's also eating his fair share of staph, strep, pseudomonas,
Toenails.
tinea.
I got to keep you
Candida.
healthy, man. I'm willing to take the bullet for you. I really am. Yeah, you're right. My diet sucks. When I was training,
But
my
aren't you
diet was a lot
always
better.
training?
Not as intense as I was.
Hmm.
But I really eliminated a lot of crap out of my life. And when I started back off the diet, I still don't eat as much crap, but I do. Well, no, I actually eat. No, I eat less, but I do like my food.
So just
Like I
give an
like
example of what you ate yesterday.
a cheeseburger, a breakfast sandwich, chips, Gatorade, and one of these power energy drinks.
Jeez.
Ooh, Ron's.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to
I
have an
know.
intervention with you. Was the
I know.
cheeseburger from a fast food restaurant, or was it a cooked at home cheeseburger?
No. They had a cook at work.
Okay.
So,
And then the breakfast sandwich.
was from a local restaurant that they gave everybody.
So your work feeds you. Ron's goes to work to eat these days.
Yeah, what Ron's
No.
doesn't do, though, is turn his head away from the microphone when he talks.
Okay, well, fine. This podcast is brought to you by the fact that I can't talk into the microphone.
But the point is, I think, obviously, when I talk about my 5 things with patients, obviously I'm telling them I think that they should eat a healthy diet. But depending on your body type and depending on how you are genetically wired, will vary from person to person, obviously, and how healthy the diet would be. I knew a guy
I agree.
who did not have what I would consider a healthy diet. He ate probably like 3 times as much as I ate, and he drank, and he didn't have high cholesterol or high blood sugar, and he was rail skinny. So obviously it varies by person. Now, I will tell you this, Rons, I really don't think that you yourself are probably going to be able to eat breakfast sandwiches, cheeseburgers, energy drinks, and bags of chips every day of your life. But out of all those
I will
things,
try
but out of all those things that I would eliminate, could you guess which one I would eliminate?
the energy drink.
Absolutely.
Yes, terrible for you. That's like a heart
I
attack in a
don't like-
can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right again on that too. But I needed to stay awake.
Yeah, I guess, but if you're struggling to stay awake, I'm hoping that someday. Well, do you like nights, or are you planning on someday getting on days? Because I can imagine at your job, people quit all the time.
They do. The unfortunate part is nights is what works. I would love to be on
Why?
a day shift.
Why? Why can't?
Scheduling.
Okay, but why
Scheduling.
can't you get on days? Why?
Well, they do have a day shift. Let me. Right.
Well, no, that's what we
Look
want.
over
Is
the
we want your
Beaveman.
explanation. That's what we want.
Yeah. The reason I can't get on days is they don't have a day shift.
Oh, well, that's what we asked. I mean, like, what we're saying is, like, if a day shift came available, would you take it? Would you want it?
Yeah, as long as it met a couple of requirements.
Okay, like what?
But it's got to coincide with Carrie's, right? Little Power Donuts schedule.
Because
Scheduling, because we train together. We only have one vehicle between us, right? So we've tried the 2 vehicle thing. It just didn't work out. So one schedule, right? We might go back to the 2 vehicle thing. Right now, 1 vehicle. So the scheduling.
Just out of curiosity, though, and I know that you talk yourself into this thing because that's what everybody does. They rationalize the decisions they make. But having 1 vehicle with 1 person on nights, 1 person on days is no more convenient than having 1 vehicle with both people on days. Because you
No,
already have
I
to
would
change.
disagree.
You already have to shift things around to make it work for two people having two different
No,
shifts.
I would disagree.
I
would
lived my
disagree.
life. Trust me, dude. I lived my life like that before.
No,
My wife
no,
and I were
I'm
married.
going to
My
disagree
other wife and I were
because it
married, and we
works for
had
you.
one vehicle. It was not convenient.
No, I realize that for you,
How is that more
but it works
convenient?
for us.
Because one of you, so if she has to drop you off at work at 11 o'clock at night, she's staying up late to do so. And then she has to get up earlier than she normally would to come pick you up from work, or vice versa. You sacrifice sleep
No,
so that you
no,
can go
no. You're
get her
leaving
to
out
and
one
from.
very important factor. Can you guess what that is?
What is that?
I asked you to guess. Can you guess?
You have to be in control of the fact that you won't give her, you won't release the control, and you have to be in charge of driving her to and from
Damn
work.
straight.
It does
Damn
seem that way. It
straight.
actually
No,
does
it
seem
is
that way. It
not
actually does
that.
seem like it's a control issue.
No, it's not. Her work is right next to my work.
Uh-huh.
So all she has to do is drop me off at work. She takes the car home, and then she can drop the car off at work, and I just walk over and get it.
Okay, and so let's pretend like you guys both work the same shift. So, being the same situation, she just drops you off at work, and then she goes to work. And then, hey, you both get off at the same time, and she picks you up and takes you home.
However, her schedule on that, she would get out at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
I probably
And
this
then
is
she
where
just
it
pick
gets.
your ass up later then.
Would you let me?
Which would be the same
finish?
amount of driving.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be less driving.
Would you? Okay, first of all, you're leaving out another important factor is that my job never gets out at the same time every day. It's not consistent. It really isn't consistent.
So then
So
the
I go
car
in.
lives at her work, and you walk your happy ass across the street to it then.
Holy shit! I just said that.
Yeah.
So why not?
Because you just want to
Do
make
that.
it more complicated. That's all. It's okay though.
How am I making it more complicated?
By working the opposite shift of each other.
No. But if that's what you want to think, that's okay.
So, anyway, which one was I talking about?
Diet.
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 Moving on. Next is exercise. Exercise at least 30 minutes.
You're a hardcore regimen on exercise.
Well, at least 30 minutes a day. And it doesn't have to be 30 minutes continuous. Scientific studies have shown that it can be 3 10-minute increments. And if you can't work in 3 10-minute increments of exercise a day, then I can't help you. You should be able to do that. It's not that hard. 3
Like walking to get a
10-minute
cheeseburger.
increments. Sure.
No, like
Or
doing
walking,
some
pick up your
squats
car.
while you brush your teeth or something. Crap. Do something.
Who
Do
brushes
you
their
do
teeth?
squats
for
when you
10
brush your teeth?
What?
No, because she exercises. She doesn't have to do
Yeah.
that. She's offering alternatives.
I'm just saying, if you're making up excuses why you can't do it, you could do it while you're brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or whatever you're doing in the bathroom. You could sit against the wall and do it like a wall squat. Something. Just saying, you can find 10 minutes.
3 times a day.
3 times a day.
10 minutes. 3 times a day.
No,
All right.
I don't need to do that because I work out.
Yeah, she doesn't have to do that because she works out.
You do. Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you
is
work
that all?
out then?
What do you mean, how do I work out? I have a
Yeah, how
bike
do you
that I
work out?
ride.
She does like
I
tons of pull-ups in a
run.
row.
Yeah, I do tons of pull-ups. Yeah,
Tons.
tons. No, I just started. I'm on day 4 of a pull-up regimen program, and I still can't do a pull-up. I'm a little mad about it. I'm on day 4, though,
Why can't you do a pull-up?
because I can't physically pull my body up. Can you do a pull-up?
Ron's challenge. Ron's, can you do a pull-up?
Can you do a pull-up? Oh,
Yeah.
that's bullshit. I'm pretty sure you can't. And if you can, I might have to slit my wrists. It's not good.
Oh, geez, that's really extreme.
Ron, can you really do a pull-up?
I'm pretty sure I can.
Oh,
God, pretty
no.
sure. Okay, now we're gonna have to see it. We're gonna have to see it because I tried my ass off and literally my arm was not even bent 15 degrees. It was pretty sad.
So,
So you
I
don't
do
have any upper body strength?
I do
I have
admire.
body strength. I just don't know how to engage my back like that. I feel like once I get the mechanics of it down, I'll be okay. But I don't have that yet.
I admire Ron's confidence. He just automatically said he's like, what, you can do a pull-up? As if he can do a pull-up. But then I'm like, so Ron, can you do a pull-up? And he's like, well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm
sure I
pretty sure I
can.
can do one pull-up.
I want Ron's challenge. Then I want to know if Ron's can actually do
Oh,
a pull
now
up.
it's a challenge.
It is.
No, I want to see if you can do a pull
I
up.
see it because I just am gonna be pissed.
Are there any outdoor pull up bars in your neighborhood, Ron?
Like a park or
Like a
something.
park that has outdoor
No,
pull up bars?
no,
What about
no,
monkey
no.
bars? There's got to be monkey bars in your neighborhood, around you in a park somewhere.
You know, they've
We have one in
recently eliminated
Galesburg.
a lot of
Galesburg
the-
has monkey bars.
Growing up, you could find them all over the place at any school, right? Because in elementary we had them.
Well, I think you're supposed to stay within. You're supposed to be beyond 50 yards away from school.
That's
But why?
terrible.
Yeah, but they got rid. A lot of the exercise or playground equipment when I was a kid is gone. Like that metal slide that would, roast you as you go down.
Now, what's the one that you spin on that everybody gets on, and then everybody kicks their legs to get you to
That makes me want to barf.
that, like many
Oh,
children
yeah,
got concussed off of.
like a carousel gone crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they
Yeah.
have those on any playgrounds
No,
anymore.
Those are terrible.
If you survived as a child of our generation, then you're doing pretty good.
They had like cement tubes that they painted, and you could climb all over them. They,
Yep.
they got rid of those.
Ron,
The carousels.
is there a pull-up bar or monkey bars somewhere near you? There's got to be.
I will definitely look.
Okay,
We'll
you
definitely
look.
look.
I don't want you to attempt doing a pull-up though.
Yeah, we want to.
I want you to wait until we can be there and film it, because I want to see you do a pull-up. Because you said you're pretty
All
sure you
right.
can do one, so I don't be going in training and stuff. I want to be there firsthand. I want to see you attempt the pull-up. I think he can do it. I believe in him.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Swan does
she's
not.
she's texting someone. I don't think you can do it.
I am not texting anybody. My hands are right here.
I think she
But
thinks you
I
can't do it.
I don't even. I'm not even saying he can't do it. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be pissed if he can do it.
And what will happen if he can do it?
I'm gonna be even more pissed that I can't do it. Nothing. I'll just be pissed. I'll probably eat a donut because I'll be so pissed.
I will also if
Well,
you
you
if
know,
you
the
can do a
donut
pull up,
does
I will
imply
also eat a
the,
donut.
Oh,
If you can't do
Yeah.
a pull up, I'll still eat a donut.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
It's a
I
win-win
think
for you.
no donuts are extreme, an extreme part of my exercise regimen.
Okay, well that's all right then. All right, well we've moved on from diet. We've covered sleep, we've covered diet, we've basically covered sex. We've covered what was it? I said we've done exercise, sleep, sex, diet. Oh, now we are on to the fifth and final thing. The fifth and final thing is your motivating factor. That thing which gets you out of bed every day. That thing that you look forward to. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's still sex. Maybe it's religion. For a lot of people, it's religion. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your dedication to your country. Who knows? What is it? Ron's, what is your fifth thing if you had to pick?
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
I would say
donut.
little powdered donut and some of the people around me.
I also like little powder donuts.
I do too. If I'm gonna have,
I
I like little powdered donuts.
I like
and
big powder donuts too. And I like the jelly filled powder donuts.
like
And I
all
like the
the
cream filled
jelly-filled
powder
ones.
donuts.
No,
And I like the
white-
icing filled powder
white-
donuts.
Yeah, white icing in the middle. Yep.
I really want to go get a donut.
Donut.
Sweet waters. My
Ooh,
5
yeah.
things. Sweet waters. So
By the
you're
way, when I couldn't do this 7-mile run,
7-minute mile.
7-minute run, 7-mile run, going out for donuts with you, that was awesome. Those donuts that we got were huge. Yeah, oh yeah,
yes,
fantastic.
they were just
And of course, I
Donuts.
remember bringing you the cinnamon roll.
after you
Right.
after you had your donut, out of curiosity.
Yes,
did,
sir.
Did you
Get your butt checked.
Did you get your butt checked?
You just wanted to play with that soundbite. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I did not get my butt checked.
okay, well, if you didn't get your butt checked, did you
Just a little.
is
Just a little.
that something that you
little.
is that something you did?
You know, I'm going to comment on that in 2 ways. One, that's awesome the way you're playing around with Mixie. Let's face it, that's all you want to do. 2, that's the first time that you haven't bitched at the Swan for not moving away from the mic.
I haven't talked.
That wasn't her, that was a soundbite.
Sound bites.
I know. That's what I
Yeah.
was getting at.
Oh. So we think you should just do sound bites. My whole podcast should be just my sound bites.
pre-recorded,
No.
pre-recorded swan sound bites.
That'd be good.
No, actually, people who are listening to the podcast right now are probably like, "All right, Beaveman, stop playing with the stupid sound pad. We don't.
No,
it's
don't.
Not, it's not necessary.
He
It's
wants
not
to touch
necessary.
it. He's got to touch it.
No,
It's
it's
a new
not.
toy.
We don't want to have a roadkill.
So, what other sound bites do you have?
I have a bunch of other ones, but that's not important right now. It's not important.
Oh, it's always important that you play
no,
with.
it's not
No.
important. What's more important is for you to.
Get your butt checked.
That's what's important.
Get your butt checked.
Because you're over the age of 50, and you really should.
Get your butt checked.
And it's definite must. And anybody who's listening in our audience, the age of the colorectal cancer screening it used to be 50, but now we've dropped it down to 45, and you can actually get it at 40. All you have to do is
Get your butt
that's
checked.
all you have to do. All right.
Ooh, that makes
Moving
me
on.
nervous.
So, by
I'm
the
gonna
way,
have to get my butt
honestly-
checked pretty soon. Yikes.
So, we know he's not here, but who does that? Who's that voice that we're listening to on the "Get Your Butt Checked"?
Oh, that is Sexual Chocolate, our own personal pudding pop, Tremonde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
Did you just
he's
His
here.
eyes
you
lit
just-
up.
did you just stir a little bit? Did you
He
feel
did.
something stir
He did.
down below when I said his name? Is that what
He almost just a little.
he did? You're not supposed to.
I touched the sun.
First of all, you're not supposed to touch Mixie.
I did.
Mixie
Touched it.
should only be touched by the Beaveman.
Mm.
That's you have your job.
Exclusive relationship.
You have your job. Your job is something else.
Come on, I did it. I
Do not play with
executed
his new toy until he gives you permission.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't touch your toys. You shouldn't touch mine. All right. So so you were saying that, are you saying it's just straight up, are you saying it's just straight up little powder donut, or are you including the little redheaded child as well? Are you saying it's your family is your motivating factor, or are you just saying it's straight up little powder donut?
My family,
Is it because you can set
my
your beer on her head?
to my community, and some of my hobbies.
Well, that's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like subcategories. I mean,
Subcategories. Okay.
every day is a little bit different.
Would you say every day is a winding road?
Yeah, like
You get a
getting on a
little bit
big old
closer.
Jedi eyeliner.
Big old Jedi eyeliner.
Yeah,
Big old black eyeliner. Big old Jedi eyeliner.
Jedi eyeliner.
For me, what motivates me switches, but when I should say, however, when I look at my little powder donut, that's really the motivating
Do
factor.
you have to look down when you look at little powder donut, or is in
She gets
in
out
your
of
eyes,
school.
or in your eyes is she eye level when you look?
She's above me.
She's
I
above
am
you.
beneath her.
Is she so high
She is
above
my-
you?
Yes,
She's so
Yes,
lovely.
She's so lovely.
she's on a pedestal.
That's what she has to do to kiss him. She's gonna find herself.
She carries around her little step stool.
Yeah, does she have one of those? Does she carry does she have an over the shoulder step stool that she carries?
No.
She doesn't? Are you sure?
She doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't.
All right. Well, so you're saying my guess is that you're actually saying family.
Family and friends.
Okay, Jesus. I'm seriously. I was just
Yeah, so am I. Family and friends. You know, I'll tell you, you know what really makes me happy is when I get to do the podcast. And every time you're like, you can take a dark week. Or you mentioned that in one of the texts. I'm like, and I thought about that. I'm like, but the podcast gives me something. It really does. It gives me motivation
Gives
to.
him something to believe in.
does it
Yeah,
give you
it
something?
does.
How many
Yeah, it gives
how
me
many
something.
music
You know,
lyrics
you
are we to
make
go
fun of
through?
that, but it's the truth. I mean,
He's not even getting it. He didn't get it.
He gets it.
He gets it. No, he didn't.
when the B-Man doesn't do a podcast, right?
Lord
Because he
above.
loves doing the podcast, right?
I've missed
You mentioned
one.
that it was.
I have missed one podcast.
No. I'm getting there. You mentioned that, the podcast is therapy for you. This is therapy for me. This makes me happy. It does. There are certain aspects of the podcast I like doing. So,
Well, that's good because we'd like to have you on the podcast. You are the star of the podcast.
no. By all means, I think the Swan is the star here.
No,
No.
she's clearly not the star
No.
of the podcast. She's clearly not the star of the podcast. But when you do the podcast,
Just a little.
is that what happens?
Yeah, it is. It is.
You've got to come up with more sound bites other than those two.
Oh no, I
That's
have a bunch, but
hilarious.
I can make more. But we usually only stick on one page at a time. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So, Swan, what would you say if you had to? And of course, this is the Beaveman's 5 things. Everybody doesn't have to have 5 things. You can have a million things. I don't care. This is the big, broad category. And I talk about these things with patients specifically kind of when they're depressed. when they ask the Beaveman's advice. And this is a hard thing about doing the job that I do. A lot of people, a lot of patients that come to see the Beaveman have depression and anxiety. And what people don't understand is that a lot of times people don't go to see psychiatrists. They don't go to see psychologists. They don't go to see counselors. A lot of times, if they see somebody, it's usually their primary care doctor who they see first. They may not even agree to go see anybody else. I've had that happen numerous times. And yet I tell my patients, the Beaveman's not a psychiatrist. The Beaveman's not a psychologist. And the reason why is because if you have a problem, I can't be objective because I'm not trained to do that. My job is not to give you advice, but my job is to refer you to somebody. But if you were going to ask me my honest opinion on something, unfortunately, I'd probably give it to you. If you say to me, I hate my job, it makes my life miserable, I would say, quit.
Oh yeah. One question excuse me. One question I ask my friends or acquaintances or coworkers, right, that are in high stress levels, work fields, like I ask them what's their out. What do they do to relax? So I would ask
And they're like,
if
cocaine.
you came to me. Yeah, cocaine.
No, that's not relaxing.
Right?
It's actually a stimulant. You shouldn't do that.
Or it's like, I'll ask you, the B-Man, what is your out? What is your relaxing moment? What makes you happy? And of course, part of the podcast, you would say probably podcasting. I've got a friend who I work with, or I should say more of an acquaintance, who does the Wisdom app. And he does, he says, I check on my friends. I ask them what their mental health is. And basically the same thing, just worded different. What's your out? I've got acquaintances who are ex-military. I'm like, what's your out? What do you do for fun? What do you do to de-stress, even for a microsecond? What do you do? And I think you're right. I think an honest answer is needed because most people don't have that option. And I hear more times often from coworkers, I drink a lot, and I just kind of sigh inside. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think, have you thought about martial arts? Because I'm a black belt.
Yeah, I'm assuming that most people know that.
I'm sure they do. That's part of day one conversation.
No,
That's how he introduces
I'm
himself.
John, and I'm a black belt. No.
Yeah. No, I don't mention that too often, but I ask him, what are you doing? What little microsecond can make you happy?
So here's my question for you, Rons.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is what is not a common thing for most people. Most people would not do that. They wouldn't touch that subject. Do you think that, obviously you're doing it because you're a caring person, but do you think that people think that that's a weird thing for you to talk with them about?
No. It's just a conversation starter, right? And you'd be surprised. No, seriously. No,
most people don't start the conversation like that.
You would be surprised how many military or ex-military people I work with, they look at me like, thank you for asking that question.
They're like,
I work with an ex-Marine.
What's your out?
Yeah.
What is your out? I just met you. I just want to know.
You know what? You know what? You sound like one of those, bring the money to this location. You have 30 minutes. Right?
Well, I just think it's funny that you're like, no, it's a topic of conversation. This is a conversation that's never come up with me in any acquaintance I've ever had. I'm never at a party or at a well, I'm never at a party. I'm never at a party. I'm never at a party. But if I was, back in the day when I would go to parties or have parties, I never said to somebody, so what's your out? What do you do to de-stress? What is it you do?
What do you do for fun?
That? Okay, for that, I mean, I can understand it. That's a good one. That's a good one, Rons. What do you do for fun?
What do you do for fun? What's your out? And the thing is, I was working with a Marine, an ex-Marine, and he suffers from PTSD. And he said, no one up until recently, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, so sorry about that if you're listening, is that no one would ask him, how's your mental health? And we were discussing back and forth. So every now and then I'll walk up to him. I'm like, hey, you having a good day? What's your mental health? I got your 6. You want to talk? Want to bitch about anything?
I bet you got a 6.
Yeah, I do.
And as a Marine, he probably appreciates that. Hi-yo! The Beaveman just
Hi-yo!
slam dunked the Marines. Hi-yo!
Get your butt checked.
Get your butt checked,
Get
Marines.
your butt checked. But
There's probably stuff up
you
there.
and I, but you described when you were in the Army, the pit, and the pit was a way of working things out. You can't do that in the civilian world. We cannot, because there would be a whole lot of ass kicking somewhere.
Well, that's what your dojo's for. If somebody's going to be an asshole, you could say, hey, you could meet me at my dojo and we can do this. Most people will say no. And you're like, all right then, shut your mouth, bitch. Hi-yo!
Oh, do you have that as a soundbite, the hi-yo?
No. Anyway.
It will.
Come naturally.
Anyway, it just comes naturally out. It just has to come out. No. So I'm sure he appreciates you asking him. That's nice. But watch yourself,
thank you.
because all you have to do is give a Marine a 6-pack and they'll change their sexual preferences. Hi-yo!
No.
How would you know that?
It's common knowledge. All branches of service know about that. They know that about the Marines. If I have any Marine listeners out there, I'm just kidding, but not really. Not really.
And if you don't like it,
Swan, what would you say if I had to ask you what your 5th thing was? What would you say it is?
Making myself better every day.
Oh, fair. That's fair. And how would you say that you go about doing that?
I think I'm a pretty good person overall.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, this is debatable.
That's harsh.
Oh, I didn't know I
I
was
feel
talking to my mic.
I
I thought I had myself on mute.
I feel like I've come a long way over the years. Just saying.
How so?
I'm going to admit I'm pretty selfish, so I'll admit it, but I've gotten less selfish over the years. I share my toys. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but nobody wants to share your toys. That's disgusting. Those are things you should
Not
never
just
share.
Those toys.
Should
You know
never-
what I mean?
How
Never
many of
share
those
those.
toys do you have?
You should
None
never
your
share
business,
those.
Rons.
Those are not something that you
What's
should
that?
share.
None your business, Rons.
And
None
now
your
it's time
business.
for a message from Swiss Navy. No, just kidding.
Get your butt checked.
Yeah. Well, I figured if the B-man's not having sex with you, you're getting it from somewhere else.
No, she
and
just
I
doesn't
am pretty
care.
sure you
Ron,
go
I
through a
told
lot
you,
of
she just
batteries.
doesn't care. She just doesn't care. She doesn't have to get it from somewhere, so she doesn't care.
No. Yeah.
I think she would care about your mental health. It all ties in.
Eh,
Don't you want the B-man happy?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
my 5th thing,
Your 5th.
my motivating factor, is much like the Ron says, mine is my family. That's my 5th thing. That's my motivating factor. That's what makes me most happiest in life, is my family. For all their flaws, for all the things that are good about them, for all the things that are weird about them, for all their quirks and all those things, it's still number one in my life is my family. That's what makes me most happy. And of course, there's that subcategory of my friends that I can count on one hand.
It's okay.
I can count them on one hand,
Quality, not
but that's
quantity.
okay. But that's okay. But no, that's my 5th thing. So if you have those 5 things, if you have 5, and this is just my balance point, and do you know why it's 5? Do you know what's 5?
Because you can hold it
Why
in
is
your
it
hand.
5?
Hey, that's pretty good, Swan. I'm going to actually use that. That is why it's 5. It's because you can hold it in your hand. No, that's not why, but that's good.
Okay.
No, 5 is a magic number. You know how certain cultures have a magic number? Like certain numbers are magical for us. For us, you can say, for Western society, you can say that 12 is a magic number. You can say that 7 is a magic number.
Religious icon, 7.
You can say 3 is a magic number. So yeah, Ron's right. 7 deadly sins, 7 days of the week. 3, the Holy Trinity. 12, there's 12 months of the year. There's 12 apostles. So for 5, for good or for bad, it is the 5 points of the star or the pentagram. Keeping in mind, I'm not talking about the upside down pentagram. I'm talking about the right side up pentagram, which is considered to be a symbol of peace and harmony and protection. But it's 5. It's easy. 5 things.
And you can fit it in your hand.
And you can fit it in your hand
And you can make a fist with it if you want to.
and punch
Okay.
somebody in the nose.
Exactly. In the dick. Duh.
Punch them in the dick.
You didn't let me get there.
If you want to say punch them in the dick, nobody's stopping you
I
from
would
saying
just like
punch them in
to.
the dick.
But I don't need to anymore. You already said it. So it's all good.
That's my 5 things. 5 things, people. 5 things. And so I think this now is an opportune time for us to talk about what's coming up on our next podcast. Ron's, take it away.
We have a live podcast coming up. So we have to lock down a time. I have to show up for that rehearsal. I will. And hopefully everybody with the fluctuating schedules will be on board.
Yes, and before that happens, key point of the rehearsal, Ron's will have his green screen all set up perfectly because it's going to be super important because you're going to be wearing your special hat, correct?
Yeah. To advertise our
Yeah.
new sponsor.
Don't give away too much.
Yes, they will.
Don't give away too much.
Okay.
He's going to be wearing his special
already
hat.
Put a soundbite in the podcast.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm like, don't give away what your special hat is.
Yeah. We're just going to be doing more. We're going to be doing some giveaways. That's pretty exciting. I'm excited about those.
You sound excited.
I am excited. Some new fun products from our sponsor.
Excellent. And I will also be in attendance.
Yay!
It will be streamed exclusively on Facebook. So all you have to do is be a friend of ours on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook as the Slaptail Squad. You can also find us on Instagram. You can find us on Buzzsprout at theslaptailsquad.com. You can even find us on Twitter.
Out and about public.
That you can also. And you can find us anywhere that you listen to podcasts. The majority of our listeners are on the Apple Podcast app and iHeartRadio. So hello, iHeartRadio. Thank you for listening to us. And of course, our good friends at Apple Podcasts. Thank you for listening.
I will confirm if you're on one of my other apps. Because I do have another app.
We're on about 1,000 apps. If you just do a search for the Slaptail Squad, that first page that pops up on a Google search will be almost exclusively us. We are cornering that market.
Yay! Go Squad.
And if you're listening to this Slaptail Vodka, throw some vodka our way. We would love to mention you.
Definitely.
Oh, we just did. We just mentioned you. We literally just mentioned you. All right. Well, any closing comments? We don't have Pride Side Chat today because we don't have Tremonde. But did you have anything that you wanted to mention before we close out for today there, Rons?
Make sure, and this is more of a serious note, that your mental health is in check. Right? If you need to talk to somebody, call some hotlines.
We'll give you Ron's
Just-
number because he's up all the time. You can call him anytime you want to.
I would like to say that's the truth, but unfortunately I am working, right? So I can't take calls. And I am actually trying to be a better person. Oh my gosh, we are there. We are on an application I listen to called Deezer, and we are there.
Why is that surprising?
Just because
Why
I
are you
thought we
surprised?
weren't on
Don't you
that
know how many
platform.
apps that we're on? Don't you understand how much how hard I've worked?
Yeah.
Why are you surprised? I don't understand that.
Wow, it's got a lot of the stuff. It's got, I think, all of our
This is the
podcasts.
first time Ron's has Googled Slaptail Squad.
No, I have, but I didn't think it would be on this particular app. I searched the app itself.
Ah.
So, no, check your health. If that. Also, I would also say on a more serious note too is it's okay to cry, right? Let it all out, and then get on with it.
Okay. Well, it's okay to cry. I was talking on the positive realm of the 5 things, but Ron says it's okay to cry, so go ahead and cry.
Mhm. Because when I can't do that pull up, and the swan's dancing around and saying, "Who's the bitch now?"
Ron's
I'm not
challenge.
gonna
Crying
cry
like a bitch.
if you can't do that pull up, and I'm not gonna cry if I can't do the pull up.
No,
Ron's
I
challenge.
said I would be
It's a Ron's
crying.
challenge.
Oh, you're gonna cry? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free. You just cry on.
Just remember that we need to be there when you do it, so we can film it.
Okay.
All right.
I
Well,
will.
yeah.
I will look for a place.
All right, so look forward to the live stream. We will get more information about that. That is going to be on our Facebook page. And of course, every Thursday, I'm going to try to do this every Thursday or every Wednesday, at least once a week. You can catch the Beaveman on the Wisdom app. And I will also post the recorded session, the recorded talk that I did on the Wisdom app will be posted also to our Facebook page. But you can find me on there. Just do a search. It's under podcasts and comedy.
Join him if you want to.
You can even join me if you want. Yeah, you can talk while I'm on the Wisdom app.
Ooh.
you can join me and speak and ask questions. All right. Well, that's it from me, from the Beaveman, saying adios, muchachos.
Bye. From the Swan.
And from the Rons, hey.
So as Ron was talking, if you have a crisis or if you're in crisis, the Veterans Crisis Line, if you feel like you need to reach out and talk to somebody 24/7, confidential, you can reach out at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1, or you can text it at 838-255.
Yeah, and so in case you got that number wrong, because she apparently has dyslexia, it's 1-800-273-8255. Press 1.
I do have.
Way to go, Swan.
Sorry, I was under
Stay
pressure.
safe and sane, people. From the Rons, hey.